Planet Dolan.
From giving elderly men erections to the most important discoveries in medicine, we look at 9 great discoveries made by accident. Hey there, I'm Hellbent. I'm here to learn you suspiciously amazing facts that I didn't just make up. Number 9. Potato chips. Those salty snacks that have clogged our arteries for years were actually discovered because of a picky customer. In 1853, Chef George Crumb was getting his fried potatoes repeatedly sent back to the kitchen by one customer who was probably a bit of a tool. George, in a fit of pure "fuck this guy," sliced the potatoes as thin as possible, then fried them up and added some tasty salt. And you know the rest of the story. The dish was a hit and potato chips were born. So next time you pop open a tube of Pringles, remember you have an entitled customer to thank. That's not fair. I'd rather thank the angry chef. He's my hero. Number 8. Super glue. The answer to breaking your mother's porcelain swan was a product of a similar accident. In 1942, Dr. Harry Coover accidentally produced superglue while trying to create clear sights for guns. Not realizing what he made, Coover essentially threw it in the garbage. 9 years later, while working on a different project, a colleague named Fred Joyner used the junk to join together refracting prisms. Coover then saw the potential for the product and it hit store shelves in 1951. And you know the rest of the story. Hell, you know what superglue was before I even mentioned it. That's how popular it is, and it was all made by accident. Number 7. Gunpowder. The cornerstone for making weapons that would eventually change the course of human history was actually a magic potion. Chinese alchemists were attempting to create the long-sought-after elixir of life, which would give the drinker immortality. But ironically, they created the core ingredient for weapons used to kill countless people, along with burning their own faces and burning down the building they were in, pretty much the exact opposite of immortality. Of course, they had no idea back then that mixing saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur would have exploded in their faces, but that's still a pretty ironic conclusion to somebody trying to make an immortality potion. And what better way to honor the inventors of gunpowder than to blow your hands off with an M80? Number 6. Matches. From the dawn of early man, harnessing fire has been the key to human survival against the elements. But surprisingly enough, we didn't discover matches until 1827, and it was by accident. The device that would simplify fire starting came about when John Walker accidentally added friction to a mixture he was working with. The mixture of antimony sulfide and potassium chlorate left a dried clump at the end of his mixing stick, and when Walker tried to scrape it off, boom, instant fire. Walker refused to patent the invention, making them free for anyone to manufacture, but in turn he wasn't credited for the invention until after his death. Number 5. Viagra. Even that little blue pill that makes your grandfather able to have sex was an accident. At least I hope there was never a lab devoted to giving grandpa a boner. That'd be a weird place to work. Pharmaceutical company Pfizer discovered the pill while testing out a medication for high blood pressure called UK 92480. The medication was useless for treating high blood pressure, but test subjects noticed a different kind of pressure going on. I'm talking about erections and their peepees. Don't tell grandma. Or yeah, go tell grandma. Noticing the pattern, Pfizer realized they had a magical erection pill on their hands. Ironically, one of the side effects of Viagra actually is heart attacks. Kinda gives the impression they're just throwing random shit up against the wall to see if it sticks. Number 4. Microwave ovens. Yup, the discovery that led to you being able to heat up your leftover pizza at 1 a.m. was actually discovered because of a melted chocolate bar. Percy Spencer was known as an electronics genius, so it's no surprise he'd end up inventing a device that would sit in kitchens across the world. In 1945, he was given the chance to mess around with the microwave-emitting magnetron. Noticing that the chocolate bar in his pocket had suddenly turned to liquid, Percy realized what had happened. The microwaves from the magnetron melted his chocolate bar. Soon after, he created the world's first microwave oven, an invention that would quickly become a culinary staple in homes all over the world. Number 3. Bakelite. You'd think the person trying to invent synthetic plastic would have a very interesting reason for it, but nah, they're just trying to find a replacement for beetle poop. In 1907, Leo Baekeland was trying to create a substitute for shellac, a material used to insulate modern electronics. The problem with shellac is that its main ingredient was Asian beetle shit. But instead of synthetic beetle shit, Baekeland's effort left them with a malleable material that was heat resistant. He named the new synthetic substance Bakelite, which is better known today as plastic. While it would take some time before plastics would surround us in almost everything that we touch, Bakelite was initially used by jewelers who enjoyed the flexible nature of the material. Number 2. X-rays. If you've ever snapped a bone or had any serious medical problem, you're probably aware about how important x-rays are. Lucky for us, Wilhelm Röntgen discovered the process while doing routine experiments with cathode rays. After noticing a fluorescent piece of cardboard across the room was becoming illuminated, Wilhelm placed a heavy barrier between the rays and the cardboard and found that the effect still occurred. Realizing that the rays were passing through solid matter, Wilhelm quickly started playing around with it and bingo, discovered how to reveal your skeleton. Number 1. Penicillin. Well, no surprises here. The most important medical discovery in the last 100 years happened because someone went on vacation. Alexander Fleming was experimenting with samples of Staphylococcus before he decided to take 2 weeks of well-deserved rest. Once he came back from vacation, Fleming discovered that some cultures were left out and contaminated with mold. And wouldn't you know it, the mold had actually stopped the Staphylococcus from growing. And that revelation gave birth to modern antibiotics, meaning most of us owe our lives to Fleming being a little lazy with tidying up in the lab before rushing off on a holiday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.